Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that we are doing this. I'm here with Priscilla and Janelle. Um, so, for all of you guys watching right now, my name is Elise, and I am a life coach at Blush. I also run Blush's Instagram account, so if you don't already, go ahead and follow us. I've been working for Blush for about a year now, and I absolutely love it. It's definitely my dream job. Some of the topics that I really like to focus on with my clients are self-love, self-care, relationships, the quarter life crisis, all the good things, health and wellness. Those are all my favorites. So today, I'm here with Priscilla, who's also a life coach at Blush, and her client, Janelle. Hi, Janelle.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. This is so amazing. I think this is really going to be something cool that we can push out to all of our followers and potential Blush community. So, for all of you guys watching right now, we are doing this video to really just give out more information on Blush as a company and the life coaching process. And it's also going to be super cool because we're giving a personal insight into what the actual coach and client relationship looks like, which is so, so important in this process. So, with that being said, I will have Priscilla, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I will talk a little bit about Janelle and her time at Blush and her experience, and then Janelle, you can kind of introduce yourself also.
Awesome. So, hi, I'm Priscilla. I've been with Blush for about 2 years. And some of the topics that I like to focus on are dating and career and overall just kind of motivation. I like to think that I specialize in having someone come from a really low point and pushing them to feel like they have the power and empowering them to move forward and put in pieces that they need in order to change things. So that's kind of like what I like to focus on. And recently I have found my passion for helping people with their businesses and trying to launch their dreams. That's most fun.
I love that. And I think that that's perfect that you and Janelle got paired together because Janelle has an amazing website and company called Bodhi and Lace, and it is so amazing. It's all about women empowerment and self-care and mindfulness. So if you don't already, her website is www.bodhiandlace.com, right?
Right.
Perfect. So why don't you go ahead and tell us just a little bit about you and your experience with Blush and your company, and then we can kind of get into the details of all of it.
Sure. So, my name is Janelle, and I have a website called Bodhi and Lace, and I started out blogging, and I write about self-love, self-care, exactly what you just mentioned, and mindfulness, and then how can we implement mindfulness in our daily lives and sustain emotional, healthy standpoint, and so that way we can go through life challenges and knowing that we have that self-care toolbox. So I like to think that I help provide the toolbox and then someone else can personalize it. It's like a DIY self-care toolkit. So that's what I write about. And I was into Blush because I had a poor experience prior to Blush, and it was a mentor who I thought was a mentor. Didn't really believe in what I was doing, was confused about why I was focusing on women. And I strongly believe if I'm going to have a mentor or someone who is going to push me through the next level, they have to believe in my purpose and my mission. So that's why I love Blush because it's personalized. Like you just said, like Priscilla is perfect for me because she's an entrepreneur. She is for women empowerment and she's for just empowerment in general. And we just mesh. So it was perfect.
Yeah, I always say I feel like finding a therapist or a life coach is really like finding a new best friend. And I think that what your work and your passion totally aligns with Blush's mission and our coach's mission. And I think that that's amazing. And I think that the fact that you guys got paired together is just beautiful. So, and the work that you do, Janelle, aligns so much with Blush and some of the topics that we work on too. So your company would be an amazing resource for a lot of our clients and followers as well. So I just want to mention that too. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your goals coming into Blush and kind of why specifically like searching online Blush kind of stuck out to you.
Well, one, it's focused on women empowerment, so that was a plus. So going from a place that wasn't focused to that, and I value that, so that was important to me. Also, too, I just to customize how you customize the client to fit our wants and needs. And it's really deep research, and you can tell. And you're so warming, like Blush is so warming. I actually reached out and was like, "So I'm curious, like, why did you think that me and Priscilla would be great together?" And she was like, "Here's why." And like they were just full detailed, and you can just tell they really care for us and really care for what we stand for as an individual, and then how can we make it work and happen.
Yeah, I love that. I think that that's so powerful and really makes the experience so much more personal, especially
Mhm.
when you feel like you mesh with, your coach.
Mhm.
So, Priscilla, why don't you tell us a little bit about like your approach to coaching and kind of your work with Janelle so far?
So my approach with coaching is kind of based on my own experience. So I really am uncomfortable when it feels like I'm just having a conversation. And sometimes it feels like that conversation is kind of going in circles. And for me, I find it most motivating and engaging when I feel like I'm leaving a session knowing that there's something that I can do, right? Knowing that I have the power to do something. And so I want to make sure that every client feels like they have the power to do something. Not every session is going to end in some sort of next step action. Sometimes clients just need to get something off their chest, and it's really important for them to speak with someone who's like a neutral party, right? Not a friend, not a family member, just someone that they could talk to, and they don't have to worry about that person's feelings as well in terms of like managing their own and managing that person. And so I try to provide that. I try to provide a sounding board because sometimes, yeah, you've thought about it, but you need someone to tell you, yeah, of course you're moving in the right direction. Or there are simple ideas that because you're in the middle of it, you're not able to kind of think objectively, and you just need someone to kind of guide you in the right direction. So that's what I try to do for clients. And I really try to make sure that they're aware that everything they're feeling is temporary and that there's always something to do about it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that that's so important. And I think too, just hearing people or having people hear that that's the process coming into it just gives them a better map of kind of what it's going to look like, kind of what they can talk about. Can you expand a little bit on kind of the different topics that people can come to you or Blush about to kind of work through?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had clients come with a wide spectrum of different things. I've helped people kind of get over breakups and start dating again and then navigate relationships. I've had people who come with career issues. They're not certain which direction to go with their career, if they're doing the right thing, and they kind of need to reassess where they're going with it. I've had people who just want to kind of accelerate their career growth, right? So they come in saying, this is where I'm at, this is what's happening, how can I do that? And I help them navigate that kind of corporate setting to help them grow a little bit faster. It really just depends. I've even had clients who are struggling with their friendships and just need help kind of mending those relationships. Lots of confidence issues. I'm here for it all. I think that I think that people already mainly have the tools that they need to make those changes, but I think that they need someone who can bring that out. Sometimes you need someone to really bring out the best of what you're able to already do and then kind of add to that and build on that. Because when you're going through something difficult, you sometimes lose yourself in it and you forget who you are. And I like to remind people that they're definitely able to do the things they want.
Yeah, and I love how Blush and just the life coaching process is very present and future oriented, right? So you kind of come into this process with these goals and ideas of what you might have this vision of what you want your life to look like, but you're just not sure how to get there. And I think that's where we come in and coming up with a plan and really working collaboratively. And exactly what you said, like our clients and Janelle already possess all of the qualities and things that are necessary to get to where they want to go. It's just us helping guide that process, which I think is so beautiful and honestly just such an amazing journey.
It is. And you know what? When we're able to be impactful, like for me, my clients change and grow and process. And every time they're like, you know, jumping over a hurdle and overcoming an obstacle, like that feeds my soul. I love it. It's like the best part of the job. It makes me so happy to see people doing well.
Yeah, I'm the same. I do have a question for Janelle that kind of just popped into my brain. So did you have kind of an idea of what your goals were and kind of what you wanted this end to look like out of your coaching process? And my second part to that question is, did you feel like you made progress in other areas of your life that weren't really on your radar through the process? Just like, oh yeah, like let me incorporate this into my work with Priscilla and see where it goes, you know?
Mm-hmm. So I did have somewhat of an idea. I host self-care appointments. So we start the day off with meditation, and then from meditation, we do a mindfulness technique that we do together, and then we always leave with something like a DIY project. There's been numerous of studies show that like arts and crafting in general is a form of mindfulness. So I was doing that, but it was not consistent. So my thing was consistency. Even with blogging, I wasn't so much consistent. And I feel like I need to dig deeper and figure out like what's my why, and then also come up with a strategic plan and a layout. And that's where Priscilla came in. She's really great with that. You know, she's really great with, okay, so what's your goals? Where are you going to go? How are we going to get there? I never feel like I'm leaving the conversation just like we're just talking in circles. Like it's very strategic, it's very planned out, and I love how we can go back and forth in the chat. And I'm like, okay, I hit my milestone. I'm almost there. What do you think? So I just feel like every time I talk to Priscilla, I'm always just moving forward.
Yes, I love that. And it's very much that accountability coach, but also like in the form of a cheerleader, which I love so much because it's encouraging and it's empowering, but it's also someone to check in with like, hey, I told you this is my goal. We came up with a plan and you're going to make sure that I'm following through with that because that's what I want for myself, right? Because sometimes we can be the only ones standing in our own way, you know?
Exactly. And then also helping me too, like getting over limited beliefs that I had from the previous mentor I had, where in the beginning I would put myself out there, and then it was negative comments like maybe you shouldn't so much, and Priscilla's like, no, do so, because you have to build trust. You have to build trust with your clients. So Priscilla has definitely helped me with just like not being fearful around putting myself out there, throwing myself out there, and being at service, and not thinking small, like thinking big. So I really appreciate that.
That makes my heart so happy. Like, and I could see Priscilla literally.
I'm so excited.
It's honestly like the relationship between the coach and the client is a huge piece of it. And I think, yes, the idea of pursuing these goals and having an accountability coach and having a cheerleader and making sure that you're accomplishing everything that you intended to accomplish out of this journey, but also what's this underlying like driving force and kind of the glue that holds the whole process together is really that relationship between the client and the coach. So I want both of you guys to kind of touch on just how impactful that is and what, you know, Priscilla means to you, Janelle, and what Janelle means to you, Priscilla, and kind of just let's show everybody kind of what that relationship looks like and how monumental that is in this whole process and journey.
Okay. Priscilla, you would like to speak first? Or you want me to
Yeah, I can start. So I think when I'm working with Janelle, because I know where she's at, I know how she's feeling, I am there. I have been there. And so I really treat Janelle the way that I want to be treated. And I try to do that with all of my clients. But when I'm giving her advice, I want it to feel very concrete because it's about her business, right? And she's trying to grow something that's really important to her. And there are a lot of, like she mentioned, excuse me, like she mentioned, limiting beliefs that you have to kind of surpass in order to put some things in place. And so I kind of feel like when I'm speaking to her, I'm speaking to myself, and it's become this kind of relationship. Like I look forward to our sessions just as much as I think she does, because I feel like we're both getting something out of it. It's the kind of relationship that it's, you know, it's mutually providing all of the pros. I haven't experienced any cons yet, and anytime that there's a setback in terms of business or something didn't go according to plan, like we get back to it, right? Like, okay, what worked, what didn't work, how do we make it better? And I think that that's part of the fun of it, right? That to a certain degree, it feels like an experiment, right? We are putting things in place that we think are going to work for the business. We try it. If it doesn't work, we try something else. And I think that does a lot for falling in love with the process and not just the results.
Yeah, I love that. What about you, Janelle?
Sure. So Priscilla is very warming. She has a warming personality, and I'm not afraid to be vulnerable to her and like being like, okay, you know what, this wasn't a good week. And she's not afraid to dig deeper and like why. And it's just like she feels like a best friend. Like she feels like a best friend. Like and it's like we can get past the like she doesn't sugarcoat. We can get past that because she knows me so well, and I know in her heart she means well, and she really cares for my growth and just overall my overall life. And I love just sharing not just about business, but you know, hey, I worked out today. I had a great workout. You know, I meditate, just my overall lifestyle. So yeah, she's like an accountability partner, best friend, coach.
I love that so much. My heart is literally so warm right now because it just makes me so happy to hear that. And I think too, you kind of touched on this in the beginning, Janelle, but Blush is really intentional about matching coaches with clients that have similar interests and similar personality types. So I think I kind of got that from both of you chatting, that when we do that and we match based on personality and interest, I feel like the level of empathy that is able to be there gets so much deeper because you guys think in the same way, and you know, you can have this deeper mutual experience, which I think is again something that's really important to this process and the relationship that you guys have together.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so Priscilla, why don't we talk just a little bit more about logistics? I have my little questions here so I make sure that I don't miss anything. But how often would you say that you like to see clients, as far as like weekly, every other week, monthly? Does it, you know, vary person to person, and how, you know, that relates back to Janelle?
Yeah, so I actually, before we put in chat, I used to like seeing my clients every single week because I think it did a lot for engagement and bonding and making sure that we were keeping up with all of their goals and tweaking the plan as we went along. Now that we're offering chat and having that unlimited chat, you know, if you don't have as many video sessions in your plan, we can still talk with chat, right? And you can engage even more. Even if you do have 4 sessions a month in terms of videos, it's amazing to be able to engage in between. And, you know, if something isn't working, you don't have to wait until next week to try to do something about it or to talk it out. You can talk about it, you know, in a chat. And I think that makes all of the difference. And I think it's really helping a lot more in terms of client coach engagement.
Mm-hmm.
I also love, and I didn't realize that this was going to be a feature when we were talking about chat, but like, I love that clients like send me pictures like, oh, I was working on this project and I want to show you the results. Like, this is what I did. And I was doing this for self-care, and like they show me like their setup for self-care, and it's amazing to see those things. It really does make a huge difference, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, I completely agree from a coaching standpoint also. And I love that, you know, you don't have to wait until your next session together to be able to talk. That chat is unlimited, which brings me to another question, because Janelle, you've been with Blush for over a year now. So you kind of started with where we were at in, you know, before, and we've made all of these implementations and all of these beautiful changes to Blush with, you know, you can have your session in the car on the go if you need. You can text your coach literally all time, you know, in the middle of the night if you need to. So tell us kind of what you've seen as far as from the user side of all of the changes, since you've really been with Blush for a while now.
Yeah, I have. And actually, when I started off with Blush, I only had like like one session per month. And I was like, oh no, I have to upgrade my life. And I was like, I need to meet Priscilla more, because it was just, I just needed that accountability piece. Like, and I love to talk and I love to engage. So that wasn't working out. And then when I saw the chat, I was like, you know what? Okay, I love to engage. And then let me just, pay for the upgrade and get more sessions. And then like I use the chat as a form of like, okay, this is what I'm working on. Like Priscilla said, sending, updates, sending photos and saying like, okay, this is what I have been working on. What do you think about this so far? Like, I feel like I'm on the right path. And then when we meet, we use that time to set more goals to get to the end goal. So I love it, and I love the fact that I can work out outside and then be like, okay, this is my session with Priscilla now, here's my phone. It's awesome, it's great.
Yeah, it sounds like it's very, convenient for you and your lifestyle. And I love that the chat can kind of be a separate piece to your coaching process, that your sessions together kind of stand for, okay, what's next on our list? What are we going to tackle this next week? And then the chat can kind of serve as a check-in and making sure that you're doing all of that. So I love that. I think I love the chat too, just because I like to check in with my clients all the time and, continue that conversation. So I think that that's cool that you've been able to kind of see the new changes that Blush has implemented from a tech standpoint and just a convenience level too. I think that that's great. Let's see what else. And you mentioned that you started out once a month. And so you really have this personal perspective of, you started once a month, you kind of saw what the progress looked like from that standpoint, and you were like, okay, I need more. So you were able to see how more consistent sessions brings more progress. So can you touch on that a little bit? Because I think that that's super important too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just, yeah, it was more money, but I need to invest in myself. Like, I can't expect to actually see changes in my life and I'm not fully invested. And I actually send that to Priscilla. I'm like, you know what? I'm fully invested now. I'm fully committed. I'm done playing around, and I want to, build this relationship even more so I can see the results. So that was important to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that that's a beautiful way to put it. Just, you recognize your needs and you saw the progress that you were making with the implementations that Priscilla was bringing into your life. And so you went for more. And I love that. I think that that's what we aim for, right, Priscilla?
Absolutely. You know what? I was hoping, because, we've been working together for about a year now, and for many months in the beginning, it was very sporadic. Like, yes, it was once a month. Sometimes a few months would go by and then I would see her again. And I'm like, I hope that, there's consistency around this. Like this, I think she can go places, right? Like I can see it. When someone just has that light in them, and I think Janelle has that light. And so I was really hoping for it. And when it happened, I was like, I can't believe it. Like, we're going to do this. Like, this is happening. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how her business grows. Every week, we kind of go over her analytics, and we're seeing things growing slowly. And it just, that's what it's about, right? It's taking care of the emotional stuff, but being able to back that up with something concrete, right? That it's not just a nice conversation, right? Like, we are working towards something real.
I love that. I think that that's so important and spot on as far as this process goes. So I love that you shared that. And I know that this last question is very, very vague, but I would love for both of you guys to kind of put in your perspective on it. But in your opinion, from a coaching standpoint and from a client standpoint, how can life coaching improve your life? What can it do for your life? And I know that that's so vague and so big, but just from experience, what would you guys say?
Oh, Janelle, I think you should go first.
So from a client point of view, I would definitely say consistency and integration. Like, through this process, I've learned that everything is not separate. Like, you know, we say like, oh, we have a love life, we have a business, but it's all together. And it's beautiful when you have that mindset, because you start to look at things differently, appreciate more. And that's the app has taught me about integration. Like, okay, I can get done with the workout and I can speak to Priscilla, and it just all flows. So I will definitely say integration and consistency.
And I love that you mentioned like the thought of life flowing, right? And I feel like when you do have a life coach and when you do feel like you have a good game plan and that you're actively working towards accomplishing your goals and that you feel like you have integrated all of these areas of your life, I feel like we just have this feeling of balance and our life just flowing together, which I feel like all of us can think back to a time in our lives where we did not feel balanced at all and things felt chaotic and they felt all over the place. And so to really be able to be in this place, Janelle, where you can say, yeah, my life flows so much better than it did before. And I attribute some of that to Priscilla and our work together and the things that I've been able to accomplish, right? Because this is you. This is the work that you're putting into your process, you know, which is so beautiful. I just like applaud that. I love it so much.
Thank you.
You know, I think one of the most beautiful things is that someone can walk in or meet in a session thinking, I have a problem with consistency or productivity, or I'm a procrastinator. And when you kind of dig a little deeper, the issue is never about those things, right? Those things are a result of what's actually going on. And when you start to address what's actually going on, it's like it flows. Like suddenly all of the things, all of the reasons why you couldn't do something or you weren't doing something or you needed to focus, all of that just seems to go away and you're able to just see the clarity in it. And I think that's the most beautiful part of the process, when someone starts to feel like, yeah, I can do this. Of course I can do this. You know, I always think that my goal is for the client to not need me. But what ends up happening is you develop a relationship where, you know, there's always something that comes up and you need to speak with someone about it. And it changes, it morphs into something else. And you realize that there's always more to elevate.
Yeah, totally. It's a journey, right? It's your self-development journey, and we're constantly growing. We're constantly thinking of new things that we want to accomplish. I'm like so empowered. I'm like, I want Priscilla to be my life coach. You know, but it's so true. It's like life is there's not like a point where we're like, okay, like I'm good with where I'm at, right? Like you constantly want to grow, you constantly want to learn, you constantly want to push yourself past the limits that you've put on yourself. So it's exactly what you said. It's a process that doesn't really have an end point, right? Like there is no date where you're like, okay, this process has been successful, I don't need it anymore. You know, I think that it's just something that can be a lifestyle change. And once you incorporate this idea of self-love and taking care of yourself and really choosing to be intentional about taking advantage of your life and living your life for yourself and accomplishing everything that you want to accomplish, and looking back, you know, when 30 years from now, looking back and being like, wow, like I was really, you know, on it. And I really took all of the things that I wanted to accomplish into consideration and I did something about it. So like, I commend you, Janelle, because this is an amazing process that can totally be scary in the beginning, opening up to what seems like a stranger and, you know, facing some of your fears head on. So it can totally be scary, especially if you're not used to, you know, vulnerability and opening up and, you know, really sharing your deepest, darkest wants and desires with a stranger. But I think that you two are like the perfect example of how beautiful this process can be and how much you can get out of it, not from just a client standpoint, but also from a coach standpoint, which is so cool that Priscilla, you were able to share that today. I love that. Yeah,
no, and it's so cool to experience it. I don't know, I can't wait to see what happens.
And I love that energy, like how we feed off of each other's energy. Like I'm excited, she's excited, and I'm like, okay, I want to talk to Priscilla today. Like I wake up excited to talk to her and show her my progress. So I love the energy.
Yeah. And I like feel that energy in my own home right now. It's almost like this self-help community is just so like, we like feed off other people, like going after their dreams and being confident. And, I'm like, I feel it over here. So it's so cool to be able to, I think that this video will be really cool for people who already are part of the Blush community, but also who are considering starting life coaching or becoming part of the Blush community, because they can really get a personal, intimate insight into what this process looks like, and also like how beautiful the relationship can be between you and your coach. Like it's not just a coach, it's like someone who is now part of your life and your everyday life at that,
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. But do you guys have anything else that you think would be important to share before we kind of, close this up?
Well, I have a question for Janelle. So if for anyone watching us, anyone who's thinking about this, who has apprehensions, what would you tell them? What would you say to someone who's hesitating?
Ooh, good question.
Great question. I would just say, I know this sounds cliche, but just go for it. But after you sign up, just trust that Blush has your back. Like you don't have to worry about holding anything back. You don't have to worry about holding information back. The more you feel comfortable to let it out, the smooth the process will go if you are nervous for building that relationship. So just know in the process of building a relationship that they're really good people. They're here for you. And as you see, like we get excited when off of each other's growth, and they're really just want to see you grow. So, just don't think that, they're just here, just like you said, to run around in circles. They're here to really support you. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
I love that so much. That warms my heart. It like brings a tear to my eye, honestly. It's like so beautiful. And I think that it speaks to Blush and our mission and our coaches' missions so beautifully. So do you guys have any more questions for each other?
I'm good. I don't think I can top anything she just said.
I know, same, mic drop. Well, I want to thank you both for being part of this. Again, I think this will be really a cool insight for anybody who's considering Blush. And again, thank you to all of you that are watching this. I hope you got something out of it. And if you are considering, seeking out a life coach and you want to join the Blush community, just go to our website, www.joinblush.com. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and follow Janelle as well. And two, if you are interested in having Priscilla or I as a life coach, that's totally doable. If you just want to email info@joinblush.com and we can help get that all set up. And also, this is a surprise that I'm dropping on everybody, but we have a promo code for everybody that's watching today. So you will get 25% off of your first month signing up for life coaching, and the promo code is BlushZoom in all caps. So that's all I have. I'm so honored that I got to be part of this and just got to hang out with you guys today. You guys are beautiful people inside and out, and it was just so amazing. I'm really, excited to push this out and have people see kind of what Blush is about and what, our coach is about, what our clients about, what's the community about. So thank you both so much for being part of this.
So happy to help.
Thank you so much for thinking of me. I really appreciate it. I loved our conversation.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, guys.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.